All right, my friends. Here we are, episode 13, and we're
Lucky.
running it back, man. We're running it back. The very first episode, I mean, it was just, everything flew. It was just, it was fluid. It was perfect with my main man, Behrlythere. It's been about a year.
Yeah.
And I mean, if for anybody that wasn't here for the first Pwncast, for anybody that's been living under a rock, or maybe they're just new to Outlands, man, tell us who Behrlythere is, brother.
Well, once again, the name is Behrlythere. If you didn't know, it's old homage to my World of Warcraft days. I got the name Bear. I was a bear druid. I took it over. I brought it to my stream name. Just talks about how like there's always more progression that we can make in life, and we're always just kind of barely there. It was just I don't know. It's like your screen name you made when you're like 15 years old, and you're like, this sounds cool, and you kind of it sticks and it works. So
Sure.
yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I'm sure we'll talk about a bunch of life stuff during this, so I don't want to go too far into it. But yeah, it's a pleasure being back for lucky number 13, and happy to be here.
My screen name when I was a teenager on AOL Instant Messenger was Insanity267, and I thought I was the coolest person ever because it was capital, lowercase. I was like,
did you have X's in the front and the back?
Man, I was a total edgelord, but no, there was no X's. But I mean, that might have been a little bit better, I guess.
You know what? Now you got to make that a question on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and then you'll be able to test people to see if they're actually watching this, and you'll be like, and the devoted ones, they'll know. They'll be like, oh, I got this. I'm winning.
I always know, man. I always know. And it's funny because sometimes people get it wrong when it's like, I swear, I'm like, oh, they're going to get this one. And then they get it wrong. And I'm like, fuck, dude, this guy listens all the time. He's always on what? But it's funny.
I could have sworn the one you asked on Saturday was a repeat of one you asked like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
And chat was just like, it's this. He's literally already asked that question. And I'm like, I was sitting there watching the guy got it wrong. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
How do you get that wrong?
I think they might be deterring it too, because, if he loses, then they get a chance. But
somebody else.
Who knows? I mean, that's where you can trust chat, but then you also can't trust chat, right? You never really know. But either way, yeah, that's been fun. The Who Wants to Be a Millionaire thing. I really enjoyed doing that quite a bit. And
I got to get better at that. I got to find those cool ideas, man. I was watching. Obviously, the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire thing was really cool. I was watching Amish today, and he had this little channel point redemption thing where it was like fishing. It's dumb, but it was so simple. It's so simple, but it's interactive and it's fun. And I'm like, man, I'm so bad at that. I just eat crayons and stuff.
Hey, man,
that's what I got. That's all I got.
I ate a crayon in your honor on my birthday, and I was like, God, how does he do this? It's so
because you hated paper and all, man. You went paper and all. That's ballsy. That's tough. Because somebody told me, they're like, he ate the paper. Why don't you eat the paper? And I was like, well,
because I've been around the block.
The crayon's not toxic, but I'm pretty sure the paper might be. Like,
yeah.
Silly.
Yeah, no, I don't know. For me, it's just always been fun. Like, I don't want to say pushing the envelope because that's not it, but just coming up with new ideas and things like that. Just like, what can I do now? And then there for a little bit, I kind of felt like it was getting out of hand because like I didn't feel like I was playing Ultima at all, which is I'm there to entertain, so whatever. But like, from the costume karaoke to different types of giveaways to it just like, and I want it to be a show. So, I mean, that's okay. But it was just like, I was like, man, I do not have time. I was just from one thing to the next, and I was running out of stuff to like time in a 6-hour stream. And I was like, I wasn't overwhelmed, but I was just constantly staring at the clock and like trying to make shit happen. And I had to drop back just a tad, but
yeah, I mean, that one I can totally understand because there's been times where I felt like I've played 20 minutes of UO in 5 hours, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, especially wait till when the summertime comes back and we do the pool jumps for
I love those.
the pool jumps for charity. Like
Yes.
I literally, when I know that the weather is good and I am going to stream and I know that the pool jumps will come back, because sorry, everybody, I'm definitely not jumping into a pool when it's 27 degrees outside. But when the weather gets better and I start doing that again, I wear swim trunks.
Mm-hmm.
I just started wearing swim trunks when I would start to stream up, because I know the inevitable is I'm jumping in this pool, and it would end up being, it's me jumping into a pool. I get back, somebody else donated, jump back in the pool, come back, and it's like, I love all of you for donating so much money, but I would really like to play the game.
I love it. I love it because you have the camera like in the perfect position for it.
Yeah.
And it sees your pool, the deck, the backyard, and you kind of turn and you look at the camera, and then there you go.
And I'm just into the pool. And then I think I still have the bear costume somewhere at like a certain dollar amount. I just jump in the pool just as a bear. And the only thing I can picture is my neighbors are like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
What is this guy do? Because I'm talking to myself, because the microphone's picking up. You can still hear me through that backyard camera. And I'm just talking to myself like, yeah, you guys like that? Yeah, what's up? Yeah.
He's like, who's he talking to?
My neighbors are probably out there, and they're just like, this guy is kind of insane. There's definitely something wrong with this guy. Yeah. So
Andy goes to work in a Marine uniform. What's going on here?
The
Marines will drive you crazy, I guess.
Let's just say the recruiting efforts haven't been the best. So you get guys like me, it is what it is.
Okay, well, speaking of recruiting, let's reel it back to UO. You've recently, I'm going to say 4 months probably ago. I could be wrong. I mean, you tell me. Hate to put you on the spot, I guess, but you created CTS.
280 days ago today.
280. Okay,
correct.
So that's been
some substantial time.
Yeah, that's great. So, I mean, what made you want to make Council of the Sage? What was the inspiration for that, or what have you?
If anybody remembers, I was originally an LC, right? I was out there with Amish, and I had no issues with that guild. The guild was amazing. The players were amazing. It was awesome. I think what originally led me to making my own guild was the fact that I was a streamer, and I knew that I would have at least a couple people that would join that I had known. And I was like, okay, I can, even if it's like a 4 or 5 man guild, whatever, like I can have fun with that. I streamed at that time on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And that's when they did their bosses. So I could never participate in any of the bosses. And I'm sure if Amish watches this, he'll be like, I didn't care if you streamed it. I just didn't. If things were happening, right, and I had to go and jump in a pool, or, I had a moment where I went, like somebody came into chat and they wanted to talk about something that was important to them, especially since I was doing a lot of the charity stuff, I didn't want to have to stop and take away from helping the guild do whatever they were doing. To pay it, I didn't want to have to tear myself into two.
Yeah.
So that's why we made the Council of the Sage, and even coming up with the guild name took a little bit of time to come up with it, because we were like, okay, like where do we want to go with this? Like, how? Like, we want it to mean something, right? And a sage being somebody who is scholarly, wise, and gives advice to people. That's what I was doing as a streamer.
Yeah.
Was trying to help people and guide people along in the game and in life itself. So that's why the Council of the Sage became the Council of the Sage. I love my time in Amish's Guild, but that is ultimately why I did it, is because I could then kind of have a little bit of control and say over when we did bosses, or I could stream when I wanted to stream, and I could split my efforts into both and make sure that I was being able to really divulge myself into two things wholeheartedly instead of just both of them half-assed.
Yeah. No, I can totally understand that for sure. And I don't think Amish would have really cared, but I understand it. Like, I mean, if I'm streaming, Sin, they're doing something pretty much all the time, but I mean, I'm not just going to sit in there and, jump into every event. I mean, we've streamed boss fights all the time, or not all the time, but before. And, it's not really a big deal. And if anything, it just creates some fun content or whatever. But
Sure.
Also, at the same time, like, I don't know, man. I just never really wanted to like just. I don't know. I didn't want to do that. I never have really wanted to just like focus on whatever the guild's doing and stream it. Like I just kind of wanted to do my own thing when I was streaming and interact. And you're the exact same way. And that's why I always, when you first started streaming here, I really latched on to you was because you were also another streamer that was real big into watching chat and doing your best to interact with every single person that said something in chat. And due to that, and this goes out to anybody that's new to streaming or whatever, but is that due to that, you created a very active chat. And I think that's so important. And as you know, man, if you're doing something in game with people, it's a little bit more difficult to also pay attention to chat with,
I mean, that's a big reason when if you remember way back when I kind of first started doing a lot of streaming, I was playing a backstabber. Why? Because I could sit here, hit something, move over, hide, and I was good. And I could interact with chat. Hell, I could get up, jump in the pool, come back, eat a crayon, open up a pack of Pokemon cards, open up a pack of football, whatever I was doing at the time. And I'd look back at my screen and I'm still alive and I'm still chilling. And that's why that's why a lot of my content has been lockpicking and backstabbing, because there's two. I guess maybe I should think about the other thing I could do while I'm stealing, but there's a couple other things that you can do, right? Those stealth characters allowed you to kind of do things but still be super interactive with chat, because you can kind of hide for a minute. You don't have to worry about it.
Right. So. Yeah. Oh, I'm getting good at let's see if I can do it. No, I can't. But of looking one eye at the game and the other guy going over here to chat. Maybe
you got to get like a piece of cardboard here so you can like train your eyes to focus or something.
Exactly. But back on CTS, like what? I mean, if you were to describe the vibe, the member, I mean, just what would you?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, like what kind of members can be found in CTS, and then what would be the ideal member, really?
So when it comes to the guild, the first thing I laid out, and I was very clear with, the first two people that really joined with me were Lizzie and Rizzle. Awesome. Right. So,
well, I figured Rizzle would be one for sure.
Rizzle's, he's it's a Rizzle, right?
Yeah, he's great.
I mean, I talk to him on a day-to-day basis, like almost every day, just like memes and shit, right? On like Facebook. Yeah. But when it comes to like the members, when I told them, I was like, hey, I don't want this big guild. Yeah. I want a small, tight-knit guild of people who I know, right? Like, I could ask, K-Flow, like, hey, how was your daughter's, volleyball game? I can go, hey, Crass, how was, your IT work that you're doing over there in Washington, right? I can ask. I'm trying to go through all the members of people in my head right now, right?
Yeah,
like Splash. Hey, man, how was that race that you had? I watched. I know you had a 6-hour race last night. Rupp. I'm like, hey, man, like I know you're driving truck, man. How are the roads? Did somebody else throw a damn shopping cart off of a highway interpass and smash your truck? You know what I mean? Like, I like to know. And if anybody from CTS watches this and I didn't shout you out, I'm so sorry. I love all of you. But I like to be able to know a little bit about everybody, because it's more family that way. Like, so my ideal like member in the guild is somebody who wants to pop in chat, wants to talk, and it doesn't even have to be about UO. It can be about whatever. Because remember, Council of the Sage was made on the premise of being able to help people through life and through the game and just play a game together. So it's more about like, it's more of a community of people that just hang out with each other. It's like more of a family, right? Like, that's what I want. And that's like the ideal people. So,
and that's a lot of like what your stream is about as well. I mean, that's, I mean, you've got the mental health channel in your Discord. You've got, I mean, your entire your entire stream is built around raising money for different positive charities and like family driven. And dude, hats off to you, man. You do an outstanding job of remembering the people that come into chat and those little stories like what you just said about your guild members. I noticed that exact same thing in your streams as well, that I mean, we get the benefit now on Twitch that it used to not be there, but it says returning chatter if it's like somebody that first time and then they come back or whatever, and that's very helpful. But I mean,
turn that on because I'll be honest, I don't have that on. So
either way, I mean, you do a great job of remembering a lot of the people that come to your stream, and it's very commendable. So I mean, it just speaks of very good volumes of you as a leader and a streamer and everything like that. So without beating around the bush, I mean, shout out to you and CTS. I like to recommend different guilds. I get asked quite a bit, like, "Hey, man, I'm looking for a guild," and unfortunately, the guild I'm in, we seek out members, but for the most part, we don't really recruit, right? I mean, we're at 300 members. We're a big fucking guild, dude.
Yeah,
like we're not. So if like we recruit, it turns into like not. Fun,
you want to know? I had a conversation with your guild leader. You want to know something interesting about him?
Her, Mary, is the guild leader.
Or who's Hayes? Who's Hayes?
No, Hayes is DTF.
I thought he was. No. His name in Discord is Hayes.
Hayes, the guy who streams the like new cool 2D, 3D animation stuff.
No, the guy that you put me on when we first started off, and we didn't have enough people to do bosses, and I was selling selling bosses. It might have been him.
Yeah, because he's one of the council guys. He's cool.
Well, regardless, sure. I think his name in Discord is Hayes.
Okay, I don't think.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's
neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Marine. Got talking to him. He was a Marine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's like, "Yeah, man, I only got out as a corporal," and I was like, "Oh, I'm much higher." That was 2014 for me. So sorry. But yeah. But that's the thing is like when you get into we're talking about relationships, right?
Yeah.
Just talking to people, and then just having more than just like the face value of the game.
Yeah.
Like. And actually being like, "Hey man, how are you? Oh, I'm busy at work. Oh, what are you doing at work? How's your life, y'all? What's this going on?" And then we get to talking about our past and our history and all this other stuff. And it's this game's fucking cool.
And I think you said it right there. This game, and it's weird because I branch out and I play other MMOs, and I don't stream hardly any of them. Every once in a while, I will for like 2 or 3 weeks, right? I don't make content over them. Every once in a while, I will for like 2 or 3, 4 videos or whatever. But but this Outlands community it's the most active in Discords. And the reason I bring up Discords is because typically when people are hanging out in Discords, it's because they're at work or they're at a outing, a function or whatever. But they're still like involved with the community, whether it's at their fingertips on their phone or at work on the computer, or they work from home or what have you. And it's neat because there's other games that have vast amount more players, and
it doesn't take much, but yeah.
And we have Outlands itself, not just CTS or any particular guild, but there's like these strong knit communities, and I think that's very cool, man. I think
it's insane.
Very cool.
It's something like when I get bored at work and I'm just like, oh, I got like a couple minutes. I like to go through because I mean, I'm sure you're the same. Like I've got probably like 30 different Discords on the side of my screen. I got, like Ego, Crass, you could just name them all, right? And I always go in there and I try to find, not every day I won't say something, but like I'll try to see like if there's like something I could pop in and have, like a little a little 2 cents in. Yeah. And there's just always, I have to, you have to mute these things. You have to mute all these Discord servers and just look for the little white button next to it, because if you don't, these communities, the Outlands, streamers and the community, bing, 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 all you'll drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, all the time. All the time. It's great. It's great. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the expansion, man. So, you know, was going to be what, Q4 2023, Q1 2024. I don't know. It's right around the corner. We know that. And I will say, I'll preface or I shouldn't say preface because it's after I said that. But either way, I'll say I'm glad that they're taking their time on it. It's funny these days, like the number one thing that happens with games, not even MMOs now, but games, is that they're like, all right, we're going to release on this date. And they hold true to that. Problem is, they were in alpha for 6 years. Yep. And they are buggy as shit. So, like, let's take, I'm just going to say Pal World, for example, or Valheim. Like Valheim's a perfect one. Valheim is not released yet. That's that Viking survival game. It's a fun game. I don't know if you've played it, but it's still not released.
I watched you play it a couple times, I think.
Yep, yeah, and fun as shit. But guess what, man? When that game releases, since it was in alpha, I've already played it, man. To me, when it releases as an expansion pack, like, I'm not really that interested in it now. And anyways, that wasn't the point I was making. But the point is that, like, I want Outlands to take their time with the expansion, make sure it's right. That way it's not like some broken pile of shit that gets released like a lot of games do these days. You know what I mean?
I played World of Warcraft for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
I don't know an expansion that was released, or they were all released on the day they said they were going to, but I don't know one that anybody was able to play.
It's a little rough, man.
There's for a couple days.
Yeah, there's a lot of broken quests. My very first experience when all this happened, and I'm sure there was something before that, but was Elder Scrolls Online release. I was so fired up. I was one of those guys that spent hours and hours upon hours on Skyrim. And I loved it, man. It was like
I played the fuck out of Skyrim.
And then all of a sudden, Elder Scrolls Online comes on, and I'm super excited for it. It releases, and like it was just a common thing. Like every other quest would bug, or you would think it would bug, or it would be difficult, or maybe you just got the quest wrong, but you would just be like, it's bugged, and it was just like it probably is. And you couldn't do change shit, and then from then it just got worse.
And
worse.
You probably tried to put in like if you tried to like email, like if you try to get on customer support of any of these, and on any of them, they'll get back to you 3 days later. I've had like a fishing map bug or something on Outlands, and I'll put a ticket in, and then about a minute later, they're like, put it in your bank box, we'll fix it.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool.
So this game, even if there is something that's kind of bugged out, it's not something that's going to take 6 years to fix, right? If it's truly bugged out. If you're trying to like lie, then they'll call your bullshit, which I love Owen for that, because he's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I guess not. But like, yeah, I had an Aber scale fishing map that was bugged. It was like in a weird location, and you couldn't actually fish. And he's like, put it in your bank box, we'll fix it. It's, all right.
Just gave you a new one.
Yeah, boop.
Cool. Yeah. Yep. What are, like, as far as the expansion goes, what's something that you're pretty excited for?
I'm gonna go with the Dexter updates, man. Like, I have. If I look at my character screen right now, and I stepped off of like the lockpicker and the backstabber, and I started paying in, focusing on my Dexter a lot. And if you've seen me running around as the drop of this video, I have been on my poison necro, but I got all of the Dexter aspects. I got them to tier 10 at least. That way they were at least viable, right? So holy, air, blood, I got them all to tier 10 because I was like, man, these updates with like the healing codex. The changes, different weapons, like the Dexter updates just look really, really good. And I hope that, the Dexter is never, in my opinion, and I'm sure once again, if Amish is watching this, he's going to hate this. The Dexter is never meant to be like the strongest guy out there, right? They take a lot more damage They take a lot more damage, right? They're tankier. They're more survivable typically, right? Well, at least they should be. But they're not going to do as much damage output until, the long run, right? So like all these updates, all these different changes are going to make them, I think, a lot more viable. And I think you're going to see a lot more people playing Dexers. So if you're watching
just
this,
because of the cool new weapon skills or weapon skins.
Yeah. Probably. Well, the stabs are coming out too, which are kind of cool. Yeah. But I think the changes to the healing codex are going to make us a little bit more survivable on the front end, right? Because right now, like I took a break for a long time on there until I got around 10, 15 links. That way I'm like, okay, so now I've got, 10 of my accuracy and defense links. I've got a couple swing speed links, and I've got, some other shit in there just to make myself a little bit more, playable. But I think now with the new healing codex and everything coming out, I think they're going to be, pretty good from the start because they're going to be able to be a little bit more survivable.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to go down to a level 3 of a dungeon, right? That's where everybody wants to be. Nobody wants to farm on level 1, man. Nobody wants to. But you should start there. If anybody's watching this on a Dexer, just start on level 1. Putz around.
Okay. Yeah.
Putz around. When I was playing my Dexer, I would find out what the XP dungeon was that week, and I would just go to level 2. Yep. Right? Because I had the links to carry me, but I'd go to level 2 and I'd just play on level 2. I think I got 2 or 3 different aspects to Tier 10 in the week that Nocero was the XP dungeon, and I would just go farm around level 2 in Nocero. And
I mean, that's a very valid point because, like, I make jokes all the time of, like, if you're trying to farm experience in the experience dungeon and you're going straight to 3, dude, you're doing it wrong. Like, you're never sitting there, you're running around waiting for respawns. Everybody and their mom is out there at the experience in the gold, blue, in the special rare, like the region bonus places. Like, I get it. You can catch some off times where it's completely empty and you're just like, whoa, you're like in the Twilight Zone when that happens, right? But
yeah,
most of the time, especially, after 5 o'clock, whatever, it's just like, it's swamped with people and you're
people are 20% people are sleeping on twos, man,
on one monster, but you're also running around waiting for another monster to spawn when if you were on level 2, then there's no one there and you get all this stuff and they're like, it's not bad, it's okay, you don't have to kill a demon. And I will say this too, in Dexers especially, they have because think about this, I cast a Flame Strike, it's 40 mana. Okay. Hopefully I get a refund. But if I'm a Dexer, I just keep punching. If I'm a wrestler, right? Or hitting with my mace or sword or pokey thing, whatever.
It's a great, cheap way to play because no regs. Right. Bandages.
Well, the thing is that like, on level 2 as a Dexer, if there's nobody down there killing all the monsters, I'm just going nonstop. Just fucking going nonstop. But if I'm a mage, then I'm just sitting there like, okay, I killed like 4 monsters and I'm meditating now and I'm waiting. But I'm also probably a Tamara summoner. So, but either way, but I do agree with you, what you said initially. And I think it's a flaw in Ultima Online itself that Outlands, no matter how, and this is my personal take, and I know, and I hope this spikes the comments, honestly, and tell me why I'm wrong.
We haven't even put this on YouTube yet. We're still in the middle of this, and I can already see the comments down below. Like,
sure,
Bear, shut up.
but like Ultima Online has never been a Dexer game, dude. That's why it's called the 28-year-old wizard game. Is because of that. Like, everybody always wanting to get magery and Vastwort Flamcourt pour their way to fame and stuff like that. And it's just a flaw in the game itself. And I will say Outlands has done a tremendous job at bringing that in, but you can't. Okay, I will say Outlands has done a tremendous job of bringing that in, but you can't fix that, I don't think. And if you can, I'd be open to hear how.
Yeah, I mean, there's like the it's like Dexters don't do as great in PvP. They don't do as good in PvM. I think I love running around on my Dexter in PvP. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're not as mobile. You're not as agile. You know, on Outlands, you don't have the ability to teleport after. You know, you can't rope telly, so you lose. You can't gain that ground. I don't know. Maybe allowing Dexters to double rope would be cool. That would kind of close the gap on them. I think if you allowed that, then it would keep it a little bit more even. Because the only thing a Dexter really has in PvP is that hamstring, which slows everybody down. And then if you're running macing, like I enjoy running a mace because then I stam drain you and then I can stay on top of you a little bit and I can do something. So I don't know, maybe there's like a reduced cooldown if you have, certain tactics and weapon skill for the ability to use rope. Maybe I just solved the whole fucking problem there. I don't know.
Maybe it would definitely need to be locked behind skills.
Right.
For sure. But then, I mean, I also think, and Sweet says it best, and I completely agree with him, is that Dexters are also slept on in PvP in solo situations, not in group.
Yeah. 1v1?
Yeah. And it's also because most people that don't like PvP gravitate towards the Dexters. And so they see a red and they instantly run. And so they're like, oh, mages are OP. But and I get it, it's RNG, but everything in MMORPGs is. But a good Dexter, like Foghorn, like Sweet, name two, like that can stay on people and turn on a dime and know how to line of sight stuff, will beat a mage, man. Because like if I don't kill you on a dump, meaning I get half my dump off, you line of sight the rest, you get a heal off, and you come back. At that point, I don't have enough mana to actually kill you. And so, well, guess what? I'm running around, and then they activate their hamstring. It's not just, and I think what happens is a lot of times, or I know, Dexters will front load their hamstring instantly and try to kill, but you use that as a defensive. It's about thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And Sweet told me the whole thing, man. It really is. Sweet told me the whole thing about it, and I'm like, well, that makes fucking sense, dude.
If instead of running, you hit a strength pot and a magic resist pot at minimum, right? Because you obviously can hit your agility pot too, just a little bit buffing your stam. You hit the, like when I was on my Dexter and I saw a red, if it was one red coming on screen, I'm hitting those 3 pots immediately.
Yeah.
Now I've got 120 health, which means he needs to use even more mana to kill me. Right? I'm hitting those 3 pots, and then I'm chasing you. I'm trying to stay on you. When I was running through fencing, oh man, fencing was. I hate the sounds of fencing, but it's so fast, right? You just hit with you got a Chris, and you're just standing on top of them, just hitting them, and they're over there trying to cast a heal, and you're like, dude, you better figure your life out because I'm gonna stab the shit out of you.
You're just praying on RNG for a miss. That's what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just getting hit. Same with like a wrestler, because it's a war fork. A wrestler is a war fork,
right?
And it's the same thing. You just pray for a miss. And but either way, I mean, this is the age old. It's funny.
It's the mage versus the Dexter age old argument, but the one thing I'm looking forward to in this expansion is definitely the Dexter updates. Yeah, no, me too, keep it from going like 4-hour debate on 4-hour podcast on mages versus Dexters.
Listen, that right there. If anybody wants to talk about that, let's get in here and have some scotch and talk about it, because that would be a 4-hour one.
I'm telling you, easy.
We'll get like a round robin table of like 5 people and just go around and let everybody say their piece, and then everybody debate on it, and just that'd be pretty cool, actually, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have to be done, because I think you can do it in Discord where you can you have to be given permission to talk. So you could actually probably have like a little council in here about it, and you could, prioritize speakers, and then you could rotate priorities through people and allow people to speak their minds without people just being like, rabble, rabble, rabble.
It'd be like a presidential debate. It'd be a presidential debate, dude.
Yeah. People just, who's the loudest? People are over here turning their sensitivity bars all the way down, so they're just screaming. Yeah. It'd be, this game. Yeah. So good.
But there is, back on the expansion, man, there's so much in there. And it was funny because, going back and I'm looking in like the Sin Discord and some other guild discords and stuff, and just the general Outlands one. And there, some people were like, I'm extremely overwhelmed. I was excited for the expansion, but now I'm just super overwhelmed. And I mean, they've calmed down. This was just when Patch Note Day came out, and I can see that. But I mean, at the same time, like that's any expansion when you any game, and then also like, look, we all started playing a new game once in our life, and we didn't know what the hell was going on, and you just kind of had to like figure it out as you go. And the beauty of this is if you don't want to just figure it out as you go, I mean, you had, I guess, like 6 months or whatever to stare at the patch notes and figure out what's going on if you want to study it. I'm just honest. It's like
I haven't looked. Like people will talk about like, oh, did you see this in a patch notes? I'm like, no.
Yeah, I've glanced, man. I
don't touch it.
I just want to be able to like.
I want to be surprised. I want to do that. I want that. I want to go into it and go, fun. Oh, what the hell? What's going on? Like, what is this? Oh, I got to figure this out. I gotta, once it goes live, right? Because right now people are going to test and they're doing all these different builds and they're running I don't know.
And kudos to those guys that are doing that, and making sure stuff's not broken. But for me,
sure, that's important.
Yeah, I'm similar in you where like the difference is though with me is that I want to know there's a healing codex. I want to know that there's lightning. And if there was a change on it, I mean, I'm not really going crazy on it and like trying to figure out, okay, well, this went up 8%. Oh my God, what are we going to do?
I'm going to buy every holy core.
I just don't know. But that's me though. And the people that do that, I mean, that's cool. That's their game, right? You can do whatever. But that's just, I don't know, when it gets closer. But again, kudos to the people that are testing it and making sure that it's a good product.
For sure.
Because, when a game releases and it's a jank product, then that sucks. But I think they're pretty close from my understanding. But anyways, speaking of videos, you've been making videos, dude. I've been begging for people to make videos for the longest time, and you're stepping up. And you're making it happen, bro. And you've made things from template videos to instructional, like this is what you should buy first videos, to funny ones where your face is just shoved up in the camera and you're saying, have lives too.
That was a fun one.
Yeah. So,
shout out to the guys who are, how I mean, I'm sure this is done for you too. I mean, I don't go like the way I do those videos is when people come into my stream and they clip funny stuff. That's how I get those little short videos, is because, the community is helping me make those. So, making videos, I try to make, the templates and guides, that's just like, okay, I've played this long enough to where like I feel comfortable with, if I can help somebody with this. That's why I did like a lot of the backstabber videos and the lockpicker video, because it's like, okay, like I've done this a lot. Yeah. And I know I know at this point what I'm talking about, and I feel comfortable that like I'm pretty good at it. So those are, fun to make for sure.
Any thoughts on Wildlands content, or just kind of the same, I mean, whatever you're playing and feeling like chatting about?
I think when it comes to like you said, I make some like the instructional, like, okay, I think one of the videos I did was like a beginner settings, right? Yeah. I tried to do what I could to go through like the options and then like razor settings and stuff too, because there's a lot of questions people have on those. Like, I don't know what this does. So I made those. So I think when it comes to the expansion, like some of the new stuff that comes out, I think that's where like I try to cater a lot of my content towards, is like, how do I help people understand something, right? Do a little bit I'll do the research. I'll try to figure it out. I'll try to learn it as best as I possibly can. And then I can put out a little video on it. Cause it was funny. Like I put out that beginner settings video, and Kazuma commented on it and was like, hey, I learned something from this. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? That makes me proud. So shout out to Kazuma for telling me that he learned something, because you never know. If nobody ever comments on it or tells you that they learned something, then you don't know.
Yeah.
That if it's working.
Is I think that one, it doesn't matter how good you are at something, and this goes for anything really, but how good you are at something, you can always learn something from the guy that's day 1 or day 500. You know what I mean? Like you can learn something. And I think that's just a good skill to have in life in general, but that's a little more deep than where I was going with it. But either way, but then
I'll caveat. Well, not caveat. Yeah. That's a terrible word for it. So something when I was a very young Marine, we're talking like PFC Bear.
Private first class Bear.
No. PFC. Yeah, you got it right. Okay. I was thinking private for some reason, but I had a staff sergeant who taught me something or said something to me, and I have forgotten his name, but I have never forgot what he said. And he said, you should do 4 things every single day. 4 things every day. One of them is learn something, teach someone, thank someone, and correct someone.
Yeah.
So like when you talk about it, it's like you can teach somebody something new every day, but you should also be trying to learn one thing every single day. And if you do those 4 things right there, I can promise you, whether it's in the game or if it's in real life, you'll be a better person for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I would agree with that 100%, man. 100%. That's a very good thing to go by, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So with the editing process, I mean, like, how's it been for you learning how to edit a little bit? Have you found it easier than what you thought it might be, or?
Oh no, I'm dog shit.
Okay.
So bad at it. Okay. I keep it as simple. I think I sent you a message one day. Yeah. I keep it as simple as I can, but even one day I forgot to. I had some settings in Streamlabs, and I had my mic muted in Streamlabs. So I did a 30 or 45 minute video, and then I look over, and I'm talking. And I look at it and I go, I didn't even turn the volume on. So but the good thing was because I do it in one take, right? I don't chop it and piece it. It's all one take. I do it all in one. So I had ammo to go back, and I was like, okay, well, I know where I might have messed up in that last one. I can add something in here. So that it wasn't a terrible experience. But yeah, I keep it super simple. I don't think it's too difficult to edit. I just went on YouTube and looked up, how to do this in, this program. And there was somebody who had like a 3-minute video, and I was like, boom, here it is.
Yeah. That's how I learned.
I need to figure out the cool, I even one time I took a bunch of screen snippets and saved a bunch of pictures because I was like, okay, when I go back and rewatch the video during the editing process, when I'm talking about this, I'll throw a picture up. So it's, there's some of the small stuff that you see in other videos. And then I was just like, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm not even going to try.
Sure. I mean, yeah. For me, I like to make it all special and weird. It's more for me just because I wanted to learn how to edit. And, that was the whole premise for it was I just wanted to learn something new every time. But it's very feasible just to do exactly what you're doing. Just ramble on, show your screen, and go with it. And then make a good thumbnail like what you did. I think that's a huge one. Is
for sure.
Is actually making a thumbnail there's more people on Outlands that are making videos than what most people would think. But some of those videos, they get lost because the thumbnail is literally just a random, their UI, their paper doll up here, the screen right here, some action that you can't see because it's a thumbnail, and then wherever their shitty spell icons are, just like everybody else's. And and then
I learned that I 100% may or may not have looked at your thumbnails and then was like, okay, so there's the title of the video, but then when I'm browsing and I'm looking at videos on YouTube, what you're trying to say in that video is also on the thumbnail.
Yeah. People look at thumbnails, they don't look at titles for the most part. And I think it's huge. I mean, even if you were to get on MS Paint and have a white background and then just get a paintbrush and put like, I killed 12 Sin Reds is better than nothing.
I literally went to a website, Canva.
Yeah.
If you know what Canva is, I went to Canva, which is, it has a free thumbnail maker. And then I took one of their little templates that they have and then just changed the colors around and did some things. And now like all of my YouTube videos have the same style thumbnail. Yeah. It's not special. Like yours are, they're pretty cool. Mine are just kind of, generic, but at least it gets the point across and people can see it. And I think that helps.
You've been doing it for 3 months, man. I mean, if that, I don't know. And
yeah, it hasn't been very long.
If you go to like my first ones, yeah, it's so funny. Like, and I'm not this all. Every time I say this, I feel bad or feel bragging, but whatever. Like, you watch my first video, look at the very first thumbnail that I misspelled thumb. I can spell very good, but I misspelled thumb. And anyways, I used MS Paint for that thumbnail, and then versus what I do now, and even editing, it just to the point where like I had to have music in the background. I would have a speaker playing the music into the microphone, and then I would be talking. And then that's how like amateur it was for me. And then I'm like back here and I'm reading from Notepad. Like it was, I don't know. It worked out. Okay. But like, it is what it is. But I mean, and it started there, and it then just.
How long does it take you to make a video right now?
Depending on the video. Okay, so editing, pulling images, finding music, recording. I mean, 8 to 15 hours.
Wow! All right,
that's for a long form video.
So, like ladies and gentlemen, this is where you can see that like the time that you put into a product is definitely the quality that you get out of it. Because if he asked me that question, I'm going to tell you at this point, it takes me
to record.
It takes me however long the video is, and then about 45 minutes, and I'm done.
Yeah.
But that goes to show is you don't need, you know what I mean? Like you can do a video. You guys can make content for the game in an hour.
Yeah, you don't have to do it that way. Shorts take me 30 minutes to an hour per short. 30 minutes to an hour per short.
My short took me hitting the button on Twitch and
yours is your
upload.
You got the sweet special and rambling. But no, but yeah, I think that's a real big like thing is I just for my own sake, and then also discoverability of Outlands, right? I'm polishing a turd. I hate to say that, but I think of it sometimes of like I'm polishing a turd, and I know that when people see like the template videos, if they're like playing World of Warcraft and they've never heard of Ultima, and then they see like this decent thumbnail. Thank you for the appreciation on it, but they're decent. Beautiful. But and then they click it and they're like, "What is this?" And then they're like, "Wait, this is a template game. This is an MMORPG game. I love template games. I love Path of Exile and Diablo, and I love World of Warcraft. What is this game? I got to learn more." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and then they go into that, and so because of that, I like to. Really, and what I said earlier too, of that, I just really want to learn more of editing and stuff like that. You know, I just it's cool to me. I enjoy it. But yeah, you don't have to do any of that at all. You don't. You can. Amish used to call them one take tutorials, and he would just ramble on for 15, 20 minutes about something, and they were great videos, just like what you're doing. And I think it's just important. You know, I've been saying it a long time. I want more people to stream. I want more people to make videos, because the more people that stream and make videos, then the more popular Outlands gets, and not just Outlands. Ultima
the past
Online.
3 months, I will say the past 3 months, I don't know if you've seen it, but I've seen just a huge influx in streamers.
Yeah,
there's been a bunch of new ones. It's been awesome because there's almost no time where I can't, like, if I'm sitting down playing, I'm sure we all do it.
Yeah.
I've got my 3 monitors set up here, and I'll be playing over here, and I can pull up something, and I can.
Yeah.
There's almost always somebody to watch.
Yeah, it's huge. So how long have you been streaming now? It's been a year, right? 2 years, almost a year and a half.
I think it's been. I don't know the date. I think we're almost on 2 years because I started off streaming World of Warcraft. Which
because episode 1 it was a year, right? Pretty much right at a year.
So I think I'm at almost two years of streaming, which it's honestly it's something it's been a wild 2 years. I never thought that the first day I went live and said let's do it, that I'd be where I'm at now. It's been fun.
How's as far as the community, has it changed any in the last year? I don't know. This is a weird question to ask, but I'd like to ask that.
Has the community changed? I think with like the way I stream, or like at least like the way, like the content that I put out, or like the way that I am on a stream, the community hasn't changed a lot, right? You have your people who come and your people who go, and like people get busy in life, and but I think with like the way and who I am, it's still been an amazing community. It always surprises me, or I should say it doesn't really surprise me, that new people come in and are, exactly the same as the people that you might not see as much because, life or whatever. The community, even with the new people that are coming in, are always awesome. It's crazy because I'll be sitting there doing my thing, playing the game, streaming or whatever, and then somebody who I've never, like, first time chatter or something will come in and then drop money to a charity, and I'm like, this is like, hi, who, like,
welcome,
welcome, and thank you. You know what I mean? I think the basis of the community being one of the best I've ever seen. Hasn't really changed. Like, the names change, but like who plays this game hasn't changed. It's just been really,
That's a very good point, man. I think you're right. Like, I mean, obviously there's churn, and like people come and play the game, and then it's like you burn out, you play another game, and then sometimes they come back, and things like that, and you get new names and stuff like that. But I will say that the community itself, it still feels I don't want to say the exact same, but very similar to what it always has.
Yeah.
That same vibe, which is cool. So yeah.
But you get like some new people and new faces in, and they have a new, different story, and then like you ramble on about something else. Like I said, like it's
same but different, but same. Yeah.
Same but different,
Yeah. Yeah. And you said it in there, but I mean, you're best known for your charity streaming.
Mm-hmm.
So in the almost 2 years, or maybe in the last year, I mean, you tell me, I mean, what would you say is the total amount that you've raised for just charity in general, not one specific charity, just in general?
So last year when we did this, it was after, I know I did it was a mental health fundraiser, and we decided to do the Pwncast.
It was your first month. I remember that. It
was actually my 4th month of charity fundraising, but it was crazy. Like, my first month, I think I set my goal at $100. Right. My first goal was $100. And I think my first month of doing it, I raised like $45.
Yeah.
And then my next month I hit like $90. And then it went to like I could pull up numbers, but regardless, the December of 2022, we raised $3,500 in 1 month. And I was like, holy crap. It's working. It's happening.
Yeah.
And we did the Pwncast, and I think I was at about $4,000 total raised.
Yeah.
A year later, so $4,000 the first Pwncast, the second Pwncast, we're at almost $29,000.
Jeez, dude, that's amazing.
That
is amazing.
it took off, and I try to do some fun stuff with it, right? I give away some stuff for it, but it's the one thing that really is crazy. Like you can say like we'll call it almost $30,000, right? We'll round up. We'll like you do. The most common response to me contributing back to those who have donated is, I would have done it even if you didn't give me anything, man.
Yeah.
I didn't need it. I could go through Discord messages from people that I've been like, hey, you won some Prev, like, just let me know. And they'd be like, dude, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you're going to come get this fucking Prev because I fucking bought it. Because I bought it and you're going to keep it.
Yeah.
But that is, almost $30,000, total raised for various charities. And we've done some really good, like Fuck Cancer. We've done twice. So we don't do.
That's what you're doing currently. Well, it was last month.
Well, the end March was Fuck Cancer.
Yeah.
We actually did two charities during the month of March. We did the Erica Legacy Foundation, which is the one that we do quarterly together. Which I think we're at almost 8,000 or 9,000 raised for just the Erica Legacy Foundation, which is incredible. We could talk about Chris Mack and what he does for the Twitch community for another 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then, but we'll talk about that. We've done Fuck Cancer, which is one of my favorite. I wanted to revisit that one because there's obviously in a community of people that are adults playing games, we've all had somebody that's affected by it. And then we do a lot of the mental health charities, just random different ones.
Yeah.
No real specifics on those. I just pick a different mental health charity just to kind of spread the love out.
I was really happy. So, somebody was talking about a charity that they work for a nonprofit company that raises money for charity as well. And they were like, this one, and Doctors Without Borders. And I was like, my friend Behrlythere raised a lot of money for them. And it was just kind of neat because like, that word association. And I was just really happy. And I was able to like have a conversation. I was like, yeah, he's this charity streamer. He plays Ultima Online with me. And they're like, what? And I'm like, well, it's this old game. And anyways, it's
this whole thing.
Yeah. So he's raised a shit ton of money for charity and it's just really cool. And, it was really neat to be able to, name drop you and know what Doctors Without Borders was.
Mm-hmm.
And, because that was one of the charities that they were raising money for.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It made me feel cool.
So the interesting thing is I do a lot of the mental health charity ones too, but I do a lot of them for the community as well, right? The Doctors Without Border one happened after the earthquakes in Turkey.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people in the community. We have a lot of people from Turkey that play, Ultima Online and Ultima Online Outlands. Yeah. So I was like, this month we're going to take care of the community. We're going to do what we can. I know there's a bunch of those guys out there helping out in that region. Let's raise money to help get them some more help out there. Yeah. The Fuck Cancer one, right? The same thing. I did that,
Yeah, that's
and then it's one of those things that you can easily raise money for that and try to help people that are within the community. I can announce that one of the next charities I'm going to do, I actually ask the Outlands devs to vote on a charity because of all the support that they've given, right? Mm-hmm. Owen comes in and almost every month he'll donate a little bit of money to charity. So I was like, and then obviously Lutheus's situation and how important the last month's charity was. I was like, I want to reach out to the devs, the people who are basically giving me this opportunity to do this through this game, and do one that's important for them. So be on the lookout. The next one's going to be one that was voted on by the UO Outlands developers as the next charity. So
we'll find that out on Friday.
I won't be here on Friday.
You won't be here Friday. So next Friday.
The next Friday that I'm back.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
I'm taking a small break in April. I'm sorry.
No,
I got life. Stuff's happening.
Life. I get it. Trust me. But either way, you mentioned it a little bit, but the one in Dennis puts on the UO RP quest. It's for Erica Legacy Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis introduced me into that world of the online role playing quest, improv, acting, and
we'll call it acting.
Yeah,
poorly.
He introduced me into that world, and then he's taken it and done his own thing and turned it into a charity event, and it is quite possibly the coolest thing ever. I really like, going to work and be like, well, this weekend I got this charity event. We're gonna dress up like a bunch of idiots and barbarians and put robes on, and some of us are goblins, and we're gonna go on a quest. We're gonna raise money for the Erica Legacy Foundation, and then we come back and I'm like, we raised this much money, and they're like, wow. It's just a cool thing, man. You know what I mean? But what are some of your thoughts on that thing, man?
I never thought I would ever see myself doing anything like that ever. Like straight up, I'm talking. So the same thing, like when you go to work or whatever, and you tell your friends, like, I don't have very many friends. I go to work, I come home, I got 1,000 kids. I tell my wife, like, hey, I got to buy an outfit for this role play event I'm doing, and she's like,
yeah.
What? And I'm like, don't worry. It's not like, well, no, it's going to be weird, but it's going to be really fun. We're going to race.
They're getting more and more X-rated every single time. They're getting
ridiculous.
Like when Bubert's dick fell off, or wait, no, he got stabbed in the dick. With the dick or something. I don't remember. But
I think one went in my mouth at some point. I don't know how, but it did.
What is that?
I'm like, like it's just silly, but so he's done an incredible job, and the amount of man hours that he puts into doing that stuff. The Dennis is one of those guys that is just an incredible soul, man. Just an incredible dude, and
so
it's fun.
You asked me how long it takes me to edit videos, and then I watch his videos, and I'm like, oh my God, like, wow.
Yeah. Weeks.
Weeks. I think he gets off work and he comes home and he just spends his night editing that for weeks upon weeks. And and I love them. They're just like
hilarious.
You just sit there and you just like giggle the whole time, and like
they're like the little boxy paper dolls like rotate. Yes. Dude, it's its own like early South Park style editing, right? Yeah. It's so good. It's and I do the same thing too. Like I'll go home, or I go to work, and my boss sits across, he's at one desk in front of me, and I'll be like, sir, raise a bunch of money for charity this week, did a bunch of dumb stuff, and he's just like, but you can tell, like, he's got shiny shit on his collar, and he's just like, cool, cool. I'm like, man, I got nobody because you can't talk to the Marines about it, right? Because then they'll try to find you and they'll look up all your YouTube videos, and you can't go to work and do your job because like it's different, right? If I was a civilian, it'd be a little bit different. But that reminds me of, you were talking, how long I've been streaming, how long I've been doing charity, how much money I've raised, and everything like that. I can remember going up after a stream to my wife and be like, I raised $30 tonight, and now I can go up there and be like, we raised $2,000 tonight. You know what I mean? It's just stacking, and it's
a big deal, man.
Something. Yeah, it's humbling.
Yeah,
it's really humbling, and it really, without going like super deep into it and kind of getting emotional about how awesome this community is, but like when you can think about what. There's somebody sitting in a different part of the country, in a different part of the world, who's listening to what I'm, talking about, and they're moved enough by it to give a little bit of money to a charity. And it's really humbling to be able to sit here, drink beer, eat crayons, and have an influence on people that I'll never be able to meet. That's what this community is doing. Just helping people that they'll never meet. But they don't care. They're just like, I'm going to do what I can to help out. And it's super humbling to just be a vessel to do that. It's sometimes it gets me speechless. Honestly, I just sit here and go, I can't believe this is happening.
No.
This March,
Don't lie.
March was my biggest month.
It never leaves you speechless.
No, I talk too much. But like March was our biggest month.
Was it really? That's great.
Yeah, we did Fuck Cancer and the Erica Legacy Foundation in 1 month, and it was like a little over $4,000 total that month. So that was my best month.
Yeah,
ever.
You're a good human being, bro. You're a good human being. That's it. It's awesome.
I was told I've been trying to. Rizzle keeps yelling at me. He's like, when people say stuff like that, you're supposed to say something like, you're supposed to say, you can't just say no. You can't deflect. You've got to start like learning to accept the fact that you're doing something. So I've like watched some videos on like how to, and apparently you're supposed to just say thank you.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. You got $20. Thanks, man. You got $20.
You're supposed to just say thank you. I don't know. Sure. I'll get better at that though. Sure. If Rizzle watches this, he'll agree.
Well, speaking of tips, tips and then like good things to do with all the new streamers and stuff. Because you're right, man. This last 3 months, it's blown up substantially. Yeah. Quite a few of them. I'm not even going to try to name them. I mean, what are like some tips? If let's say they wanted to kind of like follow in your footsteps and what have you, whatever they want to do. I mean, what kind of tips would you give them? I
think there's a couple. At least have a mic, right? It's not always about having a camera. Like people do like to see the face behind the voice.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
Right. So having a microphone first, and I'll list them all out, and then I'll talk about why I think that you should do it that way. Having a microphone, having a camera, and then doing it for a reason other than the money.
Yeah, we play Ultima.
Do it for a reason other than the money, right? Because you're not making much. Mm-hmm. So we'll go back to the beginning. A microphone specifically because when people watch you play and they talk to you in chat, it allows you to have the ability to interact. People want that. They want that interaction. And we talked about this earlier where it's like the interaction with chat, right? Yeah. Just having the ability to interact with chat can change the whole vibe of what's going on. And I guarantee if you're a new streamer and you're doing this, right? And you don't have any of the things I just listed, and you change some of these things, you're going to see a more interactive chat, which then that makes you have more fun doing it, right? You're going to see more people in chat, right? And then there's been times where I don't even have to interact with chat because chat's interacting with itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a really fun time, right? Definitely having the microphone at the first, just for interaction, and then the camera, right? Because then you could do dumb shit like, zoom in super close in your face, and you can have funny, you can do dumb stuff like I do, like eating a crayon or, doing some push-ups or, whatever it is that you come up with, right?
Yeah.
That is also another way to have an interaction with your community that is going to make you a lot more successful, which could help you make more money if that's a part of why you're doing it.
Sure.
But lastly, don't do it for the money. Do it because you love doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Don't do it as a job, right? Because then it feels like a job. Oh, I've got to go live today. I got to try to get 3 more viewers on average. I got to do this. No, just do it because you love it. And if you have a microphone and a camera and you're doing it because you love it, all the other things that you have goals for and ambitions for, those are going to fall in line. That's going to start happening, right? Because there are people that probably make an okay amount of money because of how awesome this fucking community is. They probably make an okay amount, right? Enough to probably, a cell phone bill or something else, right? Just by streaming. But, that's a perk, right? You should do it because you love it. You should do it because you're having fun. And you should do it because you love the community that you're doing it for. That's my 3 tips for streamers when it comes to streaming.
I think those are all very good tips, man. Like without a doubt. I think chat interaction, and that's the very first one you brought about, is probably the number one thing, is being able to interact with chat. And the microphone's huge. Phones double as both a camera and a microphone. You can set that up for that. But either way, I think that,
Next Pwncast tutorial video, how to use your phone as a microphone and a camera.
yeah, well, I mean, that's easy. But either way, like, it's just super important because I think that people can, if they want to talk in a chat box and text, then they'll be in Discord. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I mean, there are some streams that are just, quiet and, maybe it's just a good music track or what have you. But I mean, if you're really trying to amp it up or whatever, like, I think that microphone is definitely a great first step without a doubt.
And I tell you what, people are like, okay, so I've got my microphone here. I don't know, maybe I paid $100 for it. I don't know what mic you're using. You might have paid a little bit for it. It might be decent quality, but I'm telling you right now, you can, and if you want help with this, I will. If you're a streamer that wants to do these things, come and ask me, and I'll tell you. If you've noticed in the last 2 months, my microphone quality on my streams has gone way up because I took 20 minutes. I went on YouTube. How do I make my microphone sound better? I downloaded a couple of things of software, changed some settings around, and now I sound much better and much clearer. You can get a $30 microphone and make it sound studio quality with programs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and a lot of that is, man, they're not quite as plug and play as you would think, but some of them are. But I mean,
it took some work. It took some work. It took me like reading and doing some things to get it, but
sure.
Once you did it, you've turned, you think $100 microphone and 15 to 20 minutes of setting something up. I now have a studio quality microphone that would cost me much more.
Yeah.
Right. So if you take a $35 microphone and you take 15 to 20 minutes in it, you basically have a studio quality microphone that
it's better.
It sounds as good as this.
Yeah. But just even so, the ability to talk to chat is all that really matters. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, we can get into everything, but just they want to talk to somebody. That's why they're there.
Yep. So you're a Marine, you're a streamer, and now I can finally call you a content creator, and you're raising money for charity.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going on your 4th kid.
Yeah.
Your 4th kid. All right. So you eat crayons. How do you prioritize your day? How do you fit it all in, man?
I don't.
Yeah, you don't.
It's so hard. Yeah. That's why if anybody notices, like I've pulled back on streaming a little bit. I've tried to do I just try to find the day Monday to Thursday that okay, I can get in, I can do it. And then I try to have like my wife, my wife and family knows on Fridays I'm going to stream. And then when it comes to making videos or whatever, whenever I find, I think about a video I want to make, I'll if I get off, and it's usually like I'll think of a video I want, and then like if I get off work early a day before the kids come home, that's when a lot of my videos are made on days where I get home early and the kids are home, and I have that 2-hour slot where I know I can get a video in before I have my kids barging in and background noise and everything. And then during the week, I usually will try to I'll come home. I have my decompression time because I try to separate, as much as I possibly can. You mentioned being a Marine, and if anybody's been in the service, that 5 o'clock in the morning until 1600 or whatever time can be incredibly stressful, and I try not to bring that home with me as much as possible. So I'll come home, I'll play the games for a couple hours. The kids will get home either before, like just when I got home, or a little bit afterwards. And so around 6:30, 7 o'clock, I'll try to get off. I'll go upstairs, watch some TV with the kids, eat dinner, hang out with the wife and the family, and then they'll go to bed at 8:30. I'll come back down, pop on for an hour or two because I don't sleep much, and I'll play some more there. Luckily, I get to raise money at the same time as I'm streaming, so that's not too that doesn't add anything extra in. I just but yeah, it's. And then I think we talked about this, like I'm trying to diet and I'm trying to get my energy back up, and you definitely,
huge, man. You be there for your kids longer.
Yeah, and that's I'm on the chicken and rice diet. So if anybody's watching this and they're looking for a great diet, just eat chicken and rice every day and
That's it, man.
hate your life, but you'll lose weight and you'll feel better.
We only hate it for like 2 weeks, and then it's just
I think you add a little sauce on there. You have like a couple different sauces in your refrigerator, and done, easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot. But I wouldn't change any of it for the world. There's not much I could, I can't change the kids legally because you can't get rid of them or anything. It's just the way it is.
Sure.
But they make the chat, streaming stuff interactive sometimes too. People love that. It annoys the piss out of me because I'll be sitting here doing my thing and the kids I'm like, get them.
Yeah, but when they run in, man, it's cool. It's cool, especially because they know Pwncast. So I'm like, hey, and they pick up Pwncast. And I'm like,
it was the other day we were watching wrestling or something in Ego's Discord, and I had muted my mic, and I was just the screen was up, and my daughter pointed at the screen and she goes, "I know who that is." And I'm like, "Who is it?" She's like, "That's Pwncast. I can tell by his icon." And I was just like, and that's the thing. My kids know. Like my kids know Lucy. My daughter's favorite is watching Lucy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like out of and it's funny. Like my kids now. I promise Owen I'll wait till they're 13 before I get them their own computers and play.
Mm.
We'll talk about that. But it's cool because my kids get to watch this game, which is like you said, like a 27-year-old wizard game. But my kids are interested in it, so like having them run around. I'm basically raising the next generation of Ultima players, which is just. Yeah. There's at least 4. Don't worry, Owen. At least 4 will be able to play.
Just for your knowledge, man. Just for your knowledge, I play this game because my dad got me into it, and I played it with my dad, and not just this game, but games in general. Me and my father are like we're best friends. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Like I text him random stuff, and we have a very good close relationship, and a lot of that I think is because of gaming, man. Like I grew up playing games with him, laughing about games with him, and that was a very big part of my life. And I don't know, so like to all the dads out there, don't hold your kids back from gaming unless it's getting in the way of schoolwork, right? But I mean that's different. But I'm just saying, like, I think that creates a great bond, man.
I can't wait until they're kind of old enough to do mouse and keyboard. Yeah. Well, I watched my son play these games on his tablet, and I'm like, dude, when I was your age, I could barely handle a Game Boy Color. Yeah. And you're just out here crushing this. I can't wait until there's like this is in like 10 years. If you're still watching me stream, there's going to be a room and there's going to be desks lined, and there's just going to be, dude. Yes. There's just going to be computers lined all around me, and you're just going to see 4 nerds just
dude. There was
the father-son duo that used to.
It's not Bono. What was his name?
I can't remember the name either, but the father-son duo that would play together. And
it was they'd PK people, man.
They PK'd.
Yeah.
It was great.
And the kid would be like, yeah. He's like, yeah, Dad, they're chasing us. And he was like, I'm on my way.
It was, man. But that's what we're talking about, is that to be able to have that bond and introduce your kids. It's going to be great, because I can only imagine like in 5 or 6 years what video gaming is going to look like. Yeah. And my kids are going to be playing like a 30-some-year-old game. It's going to be awesome.
It is what it is, man. We all have a story of how we bought a $2,000 computer to play Ultima Online Outlands.
I wish mine cost $2,000.
maybe in May you can say Behrlythere's computer charity. I swear, it's an actual charity.
I spent more than that, because I was talking to somebody about it, and I was like, I buy computers so that they last 6 or 7 years. So I put, I mean, if you look at my Twitch, page, it has my computer, and they're like, you've got all that to play Ultima, and I'm like,
it happens.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It plays it really smooth.
I bought a new computer to play Mortal Online 2, and but that's not to say that, Like that was the only game I ever thought I would play. I mean, like I play Outlands. That's like 97% of what I do.
Yep.
But I play other games every once
I
in a
mean,
while. And I want to be able to play the new game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I bought Pal World. I tinkered around on that for a little while. It was fun. I bought Helldivers. I've been playing some Helldivers, and like that game can get graphically intense. So
looks
having a nice computer, it allows me, to do, a little bit something else. But I would say 95% of my time's playing a game that I could run on a calculator.
So speaking of money spent, next year, I am planning the Pwncast meetup in Vegas. Actually, we're going to be doing it during the week. That way, it's like lower cost in hotel rooms and cheaper flights. It'll be like in March. But first question, I'm going to lock you in, put you on pressure now. Are you in? And two,
March.
Yep. And then two, should we do our third Pwncast episode together live, like in person there in Vegas?
That sounds
at the because they have the shit. I think it's the same as your what brand is that microphone? HyperX?
HyperX, yeah.
Yeah, they have the HyperX Arena in the Luxor. We'll do it in there.
Oh, that sounds awesome, actually. Yeah. March, lock in some dates. I'll put in some leave, and I'll have to save some cash. We'll get a flight out to Vegas, and maybe we'll see if the Pwncast meetup. It'll be all the boys. And girls out there.
Girls. Yeah.
That sounds awesome. I'm gonna say yes to this now.
Yeah.
And then tell my wife.
It's recorded, guys. It's recorded.
Yep. This is recorded. I'm down. March is it should be a good time.
Yeah, we're talking like $30 a night hotel rooms. It's cheap during the week in Vegas in March.
Just I will say, make sure you don't go to the cheapest hotel in Vegas and get cheap rooms because
Luxor's good. Luxor's good.
All right, just because I this quick story about my wife and I. We went to go to Vegas one time. She wanted to run a half marathon. This was back when I was stationed in California, and I let her. Forgive me if she watches this. She was like, "Hey, I got us a hotel room. It's going to be like $75 a night, for the night." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, in Vegas, that's not bad." We drive to this place, and like I'm looking around, like where's this hotel? Because I don't.
Oh shit! It wasn't on the strip.
It was not. It was like off strip.
Oh.
And I pulled in, and we checked in, and I walked into this room, and I went, "No, we're fucking not."
Yeah, no.
This is the kind of room where things that happen in Vegas stay in Vegas happen, and I am not sleeping here. I
think it would only make sense for us to stay at the Excalibur because it's the big castle. It's right next to the Luxor, which is where the HyperX Arena is. And then that's right next to Mandalay Bay. I mean, it's like,
I'm gonna save up some money because I'm gonna go gambling.
There we go, man. We played poker on Splashes, dude. Splash pulled off that awesome poker match.
It was fun, man. I lost. So you took it way too serious. I was tagged. I was so done, and I was just like, all in, baby. I lose with pocket rockets on the river, and I'm like, oh, get out of here. It was fun. But no, Splash, man. Yeah, that was a good time. And
he's apparently putting together some more, and like he wants to be more organized and stuff. I'm excited.
Because he messaged me about it, and he was like, hey, man, what do you think about it? And I was like, dude, this is yours.
Yeah, make it happen.
This is not going to be like, I'll help you. I'll advertise it. I'll play. I'll do the thing. But this is your thing, man. Like, don't let me take this from you. Like, take it, develop it, run with it, tweak it, and then it could be a blast. Like, people will love to to do those kinds of things. Because it was fun. We were all just bullshitting, and we'll figure out a way to pull everybody's faces up, and you can everybody can watch the hot dog suit and everything else. But Splash put on a great event.
I got other costumes. Hot dog free bag.
I've got the bear costume. I don't know why I didn't think about that. That would have been so awesome. Right.
So I always like to ask this, and I've asked you already, but it was a year ago. But like, and I get it, Wildlands is coming. So take all those changes and throw them out the window. But like, what is one change that you would ask Outlands to implement? And they can't say no. It's just like, okay, like it's an empty checkbook. So basically, nothing is impossible.
I want to be able to remove a damn tree stump.
So like anybody can just remove a tree stump at will, or how does that work?
I don't know. You asked me, but like I've got I was looking around the map today, right?
Yeah.
Some people, because I'm always looking at the real estate channel. I'm like, okay, I got this house. Okay. Do I upgrade? Eventually I want to upgrade. I'm looking at plots. People are selling stuff, and I'm like, okay, let me go to test in that exact spot in that location and try some things out. And then it's a nice big spot with just one house on it.
Yeah.
And then if there wasn't one damn tree stump right there, you could upgrade the house and make it bigger.
Twice the size. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, I don't know how much I don't know how to do it. It's not, I'm not a developer, but like,
I just know I want it.
I just know that I want, like, if I could share my screen right now and put it up here, my house could be bigger, the one I currently own, if there wasn't one damn tree stump blocking my house.
Yeah.
One tree stump.
Yeah.
Like, I just want the tree stump to move, man.
That's great.
That's it.
So maybe Arbor, the tree, can help you.
Yeah. Right. Like,
you can talk to the trees. They can uproot and walk away.
Yeah. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I love the trees.
Sure.
But I want this one gone.
Do you though? Don't you play with the tree stump hack on?
No. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah. I do. No, I totally have trees to stumps.
I hate that.
The only reason why I do is these damn reds, man, chasing me around in the wilderness. It's easier for me to maneuver.
You do play in the wilderness mostly.
Yep. I would say if you look at all of my accounts and like the area farmed the most, it's wilderness.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. By far. I don't know. I enjoy it. I think it lets you go, like, I'll teleport around the map a little bit and kill some different stuff here or there. You get to see and enjoy more of the game that these guys put all this time into making instead of being funneled into the same, 10 plus dungeons where it's this,
there's a lot better farm spots than what people would think in the wilderness.
There are some good ones out there. I lied. If I could have two things, it would be put more good wilderness spawn out there. I know there's some good spots, but like the decent ones, and maybe this is because they want people to go into the dungeons. I don't know. But like there'll be like 4 mobs, like good mobs to kill in this one little spot, and then that's it. And you got to recall around constantly and hit all these spots. But that's what
I do.
That's what people do is they just have, a book with these spots, but if 5 people are doing that, they're all gone. But if you put a couple more spots, 6 or 7 spots where there's good, a good, healthy, 2 or 3 people can farm it, you're going to spread the population out a little bit. People are going to actually play and see different things. It's going to create different PvP environment because there's factioners and shit running around all the time. Yeah. You're gonna put people out there that's going to be, I don't know. Because if you think about old school UO, people would go and farm, out in the wilderness quite a bit. Mm-hmm. So if I could change, I really want that tree stump gone, but if I could change one thing, it would be more wilderness spawns.
You got to pick one, bro. You want the tree stump or you want to spawn, bro? What is it?
I will take the unselfish decision and say I would like some more viable wilderness spawn locations.
Yeah, I like it. Well, hopefully you'll get a lot of those in Wildlands. I think you will.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah. Okay, last question, my friend. Who should be the next guest?
Who should be the next guest? I think I've got somebody in mind who they are newer.
Okay.
But they are just so full of life and very entertaining to watch. And if you're watching this and you don't know who this is, you should definitely check them out, not only over on Twitch, but you should definitely watch the episode of the Pwncast on this one. I'm going to go with Krasnog.
Okay. Oh,
That guy, old Crassy, man.
Legend.
You know what I mean? Like the fact that you already know that just shows, the dude is, I got into a stream the first time. You see these lights?
Yeah.
That's because I watched his and I was like, man, that looks really nice.
Yeah.
That livens it up and keeps it kind of, something's going on behind me, then it's not just a blank wall.
Yeah.
And when you talk to him, he's the same way. He's interactive. He's reading chat. He's doing the damn thing. Yep. And he does like the off the wall, like Friday night rave parties and stuff. Like just a super fun, entertaining guy. And I think a Pwncast, and then, he's got a lot of stories. He's got a lot of stories and a lot of life. And I think he would be a really, really fun person for you to have on the Pwncast.
All right. Well, you heard it there, Krasnog. DM me, bro. Let's chat.
Slide into them DMs, baby.
Well, Bear, dude, man, I knew this was going to be a good one. I honestly, we could have probably rambled on for another hour and a half or 3 or 5 or whatever.
Not gonna lie, there was times where I would be like, all right, let's figure out how I can pull this back into the
get it back going on there.
Yeah,
but,
sorry.
We could just ramble on forever. So I really appreciate you coming on here again for a second time. I'm looking forward to that third time, about a year from now.
Live.
Let's make that happen. We'll do it there and in person. So it'll be great. But you're an inspiration for everybody, my friend. Not just everybody, new streamers, but also older streamers such as myself. And it's an honor to have you here for a second time in what you do for the community of the world. I can say that, not just Outlands, but $30,000, man. That's a lot of money that you've raised for people in need, and so that's a very commendable thing. So, what did Rizzle tell you to say after people compliment you?
Thank you.
Oh man.
Yeah. No. I look forward to the third Pwncast. I appreciate the kind words. It does give me motivation to keep doing it. And the community is amazing. So hopefully you guys all buy tickets or whatever it is that you have to do to come out to Pwnstar's meetup in Vegas in March. We can all just say hello together.
There we go. Awesome. Well, Bear, once again, man, I appreciate you. Any last words?
Now you put me on the spot again.
You're speechless for the first time ever?
Yeah, I might be speechless on that one. Final words. Love you guys. I appreciate everything you guys do.
Cool. Guys, I'll see you next time. Pwnstar Gaming out.